Hey, what's going on, good people? Armand Owens here once again with another episode of the Daily Unsung Leader. And I've been talking about biases and how they could negatively affect your ability to lead. I've gone through affinity bias, gone through confirmation bias, gone through the Dunning-Kruger effect or bias. And if you want to learn more about those biases, you can go check out my previous videos. The last one today I'm going to talk about is fundamental attribution error. And what that is it's a leader's tendency to overemphasize, a person's, personal characteristics, while at the same time ignoring the situational factors they may affect those personal characteristics. Right? It's a literal, judging the book by, its cover. It makes the assumption that, what people do is ultimately who they are, and taking no consideration, of, whatever personal circumstances they're dealing with, what issues they may have going on in their lives, or any of that stuff. Right. And as a leader that has been doing this for a little while, I'm absolutely guilty, of jumping to conclusions, about an individual because it's easy, right? It's easy to judge, to place people in boxes, to categorize them in a certain way with minimal information and never have to think about it again. But that is extremely, extremely unfair to that person. It's extremely unfair to mischaracterize somebody based on, based on their actions or a characteristic that may be, out of character, not a common thing, for that person. So, giving people the benefit of the doubt, I think really, really, has to rise to the top, as a leader, because we don't have all the information. We don't have all the information of what's going on. For example, fundamental attribution error comes into play in a situation where you may have somebody on your team that you're responsible for as a leader, habitually late, and it is extremely frustrating. And you write them off to, being lazy, to being unmotivated, and you never had a conversation with them. You never asked what's going on. You never taken an involved leadership approach to figure out, hey, this person typically doesn't do this. What has happened over the last month? What has happened over the last week? What has occurred that is driving, this behavior? Let's not assume that somebody is lazy or unmotivated or just doesn't get it, or, quote unquote, part of the new generation. That mess. People are people are people. Honor people. Stop putting people in boxes in that way. If you are a better leader, then the new generation, will respond to you. How about that? Anyway, I get kind of emotional when people always land to, oh, well, this new generation. Shut up. Be a better leader. Anyway, but the assumption, because somebody may be habitually late, that they're lazy and unmotivated, may not be the full story. You never know, because maybe a situation where, this person has all of a sudden had to take on, their mother-in-law, a sick mother-in-law who requires a significant amount of help and care, all while dealing with a newborn that needs extra care, and trying to manage a household where the spouse is maybe being overwhelmed by all the circumstances, and it's causing the routine to be shaken, and you may be coming in late. That person may be waking up late because of all the things they're dealing with. All right? I'm just saying. And it could be a number of different things, but to immediately jump to this person is unmotivated, this person is lazy, that's completely unfair to that person. And it's unfair. It's is detrimental to your ability to lead, because if you classify somebody under that banner of lazy and unmotivated, that's who you're going to react to. You're going to treat them just like that, and you're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So you're never going to be in a position to do what a leader is supposed to do and help them to grow into ultimately to grow into a leader. So we got to be aware of the biases that are acting in the background, because a lot of stuff happens unconsciously, but you have to be forcibly consciously aware of your perspective about people, your perspective about who they are, your perspective about what they're going through, and just a willingness to honor people without judgment and give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, if people continue to show you over and over again who they are, then you absolutely believe them. You absolutely believe them. But first, be willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. So that bias, like I said, is a fundamental attribution error. And this will be the last bias I go over for this season. If anybody has any other biases you want me to go over or kind of break down, I can do that as well. But these are kind of my top 4 ones that you see all the time, and they really kind of center in judgment, right? That initial judgment, based not really informed with all of the information on the person. So I'm really excited about what I'm going to be talking about over the next 29 days. A year ago, I wrote up some of my leadership hacks, some of the things that I've learned from some of the best leaders that I've encountered, and I've taken some of those hacks and instituted them in my own life and in my own leadership practices, and they've been phenomenal for me. Some I do more than others, depending on the situation. But I want to give you a kind of a sneak peek of what I'm going to be talking about. What are some of these leadership hacks? And some of them I've alluded to over the course of these videos, but I haven't really just taken a hack and untangled it and broke it down, for everybody, and why I've implemented, or why it was implemented in that leader's life. I'm gonna tell you where I got it from. I'm gonna tell you some of the uses of it, why it works, and hopefully you can take some of those tools, take some of those hacks, and apply it for your own leadership. But so I'm gonna read actually some of those leadership hacks now. Number 1 is naps, and there's varying degrees of naps, And I'm going to go into that. Breathing on purpose. I'm probably gonna do 2 videos solely on breathing, on why that is one of the most important things that you can do as a leader, is breathe on purpose. Give me some background. I'm gonna go super nerd on that one. So just be ready. But it revolutionized my energy levels. It revolutionized my approach, and I'm sure that it can help you as well. Number 3, this one's a little bit easier. Laughing is a leadership hack. Number 4, fear casting. I talked a little bit about fear casting and what that means. Something that I practice every single day. Imagining the worst case scenario for that day, so that mentally I'm prepared for it. I'm not surprised, so that I'm not in a position of panic when things hit the fan. Positive projection. I've talked a little bit about that, but not gone in depth on it. Number 6, purposely doing things out of your comfort zone. Like I'm right-handed, and that means sometimes that I grab my toothbrush and I brush my teeth with my left hand. And that's just a small microcosm of some of the things that I do. I used to have a mantra about that stayed with me, and it said, "Do what sucks. Do what sucks." If you do what sucks, you never fall into comfort. You never stop growing, and you never stop becoming the person who you're meant to be. Number 7, build rapport. I'm gonna talk about how to build rapport with people, with your team, so that you can gain an understanding. You can help to understand how your team is seeing the world, how they're understanding your delivery, and just being able to understand and appreciate other people's worlds, not just your own. Number 8, be a real human person. Turns out being a real human person is a leadership hack. Who would have guessed it? Number 9, share your mistakes. Be transparent. Let people know that you recognize that you ain't perfect. All right. So, and I got 20 more of them, coming for you. So I'm excited for it. Those are just a sneak peek of what's to come. So for the next 29 days, when we talking about the leadership hacks of the greatest leaders that I've come across, that I've adapted in my own life, that work. All right. Look forward to it. Hey, like, share, tell a friend. Unsung Leader, out.